Hey, Winter here, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video that I've created for you. Now please watch it until the end, as I have a very easy favor that I'd like to ask of you. That will help me create more additional free videos for you, geared specifically to helping you with whatever sticking points you may have. Now I'm not selling you anything, I just need a little help. So in the course of creating the Millionaire's Brain, I spoke to quite a number of people about their problems with regards to wealth. These people come from all walks of life. Some were unemployed for a good number of years. Some had jobs but weren't very happy with where they were in life and wanted to do better for themselves. So they sent in questions via email asking if there was some big secret that only the mega successful know. If I knew that secret, and if I'd share that secret with them. So here's the thing. There's really no big, profound secret to any of it. To creating the kind of wealth that you want. To creating the kind of wealth and life that you deserve. Let me share with you some of these questions so you can get a better understanding of what I mean.
The first question comes from Jensen, who says, I'm currently in my 30s and stuck in a dead-end job. I'm getting by okay, I suppose, but it's not making me happy. I've read about how people manage to get out of the rat race and suddenly become millionaires. It sounds like something I need to do, but I just don't know how or where to start. I get this kind of question a lot, and I end up saying the same thing to the people who ask the same question. Getting out of the rat race, making it on your own, being your own boss, there's really no big secret to any of it. Having the kind of wealth, living the kind of life that you want, it's really not much of a secret thanks to one particular hit movie that you've probably already familiar with, The Secret. Now, if you're not familiar with The Secret, the gist of it is this. Everything that you could ever want, everything that you could ever need, stems from one place and one place only, your mind. Not every millionaire in the world was born with a silver spoon. Millionaires are millionaires not because they have what you don't. Self-made millionaires especially start out where you were, where you are right now. Now, if you're not a millionaire yet, right at this very moment, they've had the crappy jobs, the broken down cars, the tons of debt, every god-awful circumstance there is to be had. I should know because I've had the crappy job. I had the god-awful, painful, and toxic relationships, even nearly gone bankrupt. But I am where I am right now because I made a conscious effort to change the one thing that I knew would make all the difference in the world: my mind. You see, if you're not happy with the kind of wealth that you have right now, it's because you haven't quite gotten past your preconceived notions about wealth. You still struggle with limiting beliefs. You don't believe in yourself. Growing up, you probably had certain preconceived ideas about wealth drilled into your mind. Stuff like, the only way you can get rich is to bust your ass most of your life, work right up till you're 50 or 60 until you retire, or worse, even after you're supposed to be retired. How money changes everyone for the worst. Money is the root of all evil. That you don't deserve to be rich because you'll suddenly transform into Mr. Scrooge once you become a millionaire. Now that is pure garbage. Every aspect of your life, your health, your relationships, your wealth, everything is created under your own power. If you think you don't deserve wealth, you're never going to get wealthy. If you think you're going to have to work till you're dead, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Millionaires are millionaires because they do certain things a certain way. They think differently than those who aren't millionaires. They feel differently about money, about wealth, than the rest of the world. They have different habits when it comes to money. But more importantly, they act differently than those who aren't millionaires. They have a millionaire's mindset, but they also have the willingness to act on their own desires, on what they truly believe they deserve. They take massive action on their vision, their goals for themselves, and that is a big part of the secret that you're missing. So if you want to get out of the rat race, be sure to have the right mindset first and foremost. Be absolutely certain what it is that you want out of life. Then once you're able to see yourself being happy, being rich, living the kind of life that you've always dreamed of, take massive action. Set goals. Make a map of how you intend to get there. Listen, we all have difficult days. We all have days in which we question ourselves. But no matter what, pursue your goals. Work towards what you want and where you want to be in life. Constantly immerse yourself in things that add value to your life and avoid everything else that won't contribute to your growth. Invest in yourself, be it in terms of advancing your education or exploring your creative side. When you invest in yourself, it helps strengthen the millionaire mindset that you're trying to cultivate. It motivates you to be you at your very best at all times. That's your first step to getting out of the rat race. Now that we've gotten that flat out of the way, let's look at what Kara has to ask. I'm a single mom with a 6-month-old baby. I take home $40,000 a year. I have credit card debts, student loans, and I have to pay an interest-only home loan that will adjust in 2 years. How do I make sure I have something to retire with? But more importantly, how do I save for my children's futures? I know this is something you've probably heard before, but there's always one golden rule to personal finance that you have to follow if you're thinking of your future. Pay yourself first. I know some of you out there are going, huh? So please let me explain. When you get your paycheck every month, when you've got enough money coming in, always set aside a portion of your paycheck for yourself. And no, I don't mean that you're going to use this money to buy stuff that you want. You take that portion of your paycheck and put it in your 401k, your Roth IRA, or simply your savings account. This is even before you pay your bills or buy groceries. The first bill that you pay every single month should always be to yourself. Now, this is important if your goal is to build wealth and secure your financial future. I know it might not sound like the easiest thing to do for everyone. I mean, there's rent, car payments, groceries, home loans, student loans, credit card debt. By the end of it, it all seems like there's just too much month at the end of the money. Now, that's a lot of the problem for most of the people out there. They try to save what's left over after settling the bills and paying for everything else. But most often, there's nothing left to save. Now, do you remember how I talked about mindset in the previous question? Paying yourself first is a way for you to tell yourself that you are more important than bills or the landlord. You're cultivating a mindset that establishes savings as a priority over everything else. Doing this helps you develop sound financial habits that place emphasis on savings. Most people tend to have the following priorities when it comes to money: bills, fun, then savings. But again, like I've said before, when you keep to that order, you'll find yourself with very little money for savings if you're left with anything at all. However, if you reverse the order and have savings as top priority, then you're able to set your money aside before you start justifying and rationalizing the 1,000 different ways you can spend your money. Now, if you think that it's just too hard to find the money to save, it's really not. A lot of people don't even try paying themselves first because they believe it's impossible. But I bet almost everyone can save, at the very least, 1% of their income. Just 1%. That's only 1 penny out of every dollar. For Kara, that's like $30 of approximately $3,000 a month, which works out to just $1 a day. $1 a day. That's like setting aside loose change. Surely anyone can pay themselves $1 every day. The point is, the process is relatively painless. So much so that some of you out there might be thinking, I could probably save $2 a day, maybe even $3. As your saving rate increases, so will your retirement fund. Next up, we have Landon, who has this to say. I'm a recent graduate who just got out into the real world. And I just got a job that pays about $50,000 a year. Of course, I've got a ton of student loans to take care of, among other things. I know as working as an adult now, I need to get my shit together where my money is concerned. But I have no idea where to start in terms of organizing myself and motivating myself to think about my future. Any ideas? Well, you're not alone, Landon. I'm sure there are quite a few recent graduates out there feeling a little lost, not sure how to go about with their finances. We all have to start somewhere, right? Okay, so first things first. Think about what's important to you, what you want in life. Not just for today, or next week, or even next month. What do you want to achieve in the next year, or in the next 5 years? What kind of retirement are you looking forward to? When are you thinking of retiring? Once you've figured out what you want, start making plans on how you're going to get there. If you want to live a certain lifestyle when you retire, figure out just how much that lifestyle costs a year. For example, if you're concerned about retirement, then keep in mind the following considerations. First, at what age do you want to retire? Second, how much income will you need every year once you've retired? It's always a good idea to go with a high estimate. It's usually logical to assume you'll need about 80% of your current income if you want to maintain your standard of living. Third, figure out the current market value of all your savings and investments. Fourth, determine a realistic annualized real rate of return, net of inflation, on your investments. Conservatively assume inflation will be about 4% annually. A realistic rate of return would be 6 to 10%. Go with a low estimate just to be on the safe side. Fifth, if you have a company pension plan, figure out an estimate of its value. And sixth, estimate the value of your Social Security benefits. You can obtain these estimates through the Social Security Administration website. As you go through the process of creating your plan, you'll discover various trade-offs you might have to take to get what you want the most. Now, as to getting yourself organized, there's a little app that I use on my phone called Mint. It helps me keep focused and organized where my money is concerned. It's way more intuitive at tracking my finances than using old school Excel. You can create various subcategories within your regular accounts, so staying organized is a breeze and you'll never be confused over your expenditures. Also, it should go without saying by now that just like I've recommended with Kara, always pay yourself first. Oh, and here's a tip. Find out if your employer offers any kind of 401k matching. Since you just started, you might not be eligible for it yet, but when you are, make sure you're comfortable enough to get the full match. Don't leave free money on the table. Okay, next we have Vince, who asks, I turned 50 this September, and I've been unemployed for the last few months. I have no retirement plans in place apart from my 401k, and those contributions stopped when the paycheck stopped. I'm starting to worry about saving for my retirement, but at the same time, I feel like I need to save whatever I have right now until I get another job, just to get by the day-to-day stuff. Am I right to do this? You're absolutely right. You're going to have to put your investments on hold for now. Focus on saving your cash right now. Always make sure you have at least 3 months worth of living expenses saved. Personally, I always make sure that I have at least 6 months of liquid cash as emergency reserves on hand. I've known so many people who are living just one paycheck to one paycheck and not being far away from being homeless. Now that the paychecks have stopped, you need to go into emergency mode and focus only on the bare necessities so you can get by each day. The last thing you want to do is keep up your investments and end up being on the streets because you can't pay the rent, or starve because you can't afford to even buy food. Once you do find another job, you can focus on investing again. But right now, just focus on saving whatever you have to get by.
Okay, guys and gals, that's all the time we have for now. I hope you've learned something useful from this video, because there's nothing more that warms my heart from knowing that I've managed to help even just one of you out there make your life a little bit easier. Better still, if you've learned enough from this to get one step closer to your dream, it couldn't make me happier. Now, before I go, I'd like to ask you to send in your own questions to the survey link below. Let me know what's troubling you when it comes to your finances. Just like I've done in this video, I'll pick some of the best questions to answer in the next video. So please watch out for the next email. Thanks again. Stay safe, happy, and well. From Winter, I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.